Hello, everyone. I was in my. Welcome back to ROG Talks tonight. Monday. Today is what? The 26th. Is it? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you look.
No, I didn't look. I was going like this. How am I going to look? So I'm trying to remember yesterday was the offering date, But yeah, welcome everyone. We have our invites today. We have the Escobedo family with us. We have
Child coming to King.
We have Hermana Bree.
King Escobedo.
And then we have Hermano Hernan with us.
Marrón.
And then we have Charlie and we have Asa.
He lives here now.
Pastor's done a special assignment. So they won't be here
Hey,
today.
last time it was girls.
Right?
Now it's men.
It's only boy. Yeah, but you're a guy. You're considered a guy.
And Charlie, you want to recommend what?
Oh yeah, you gotta drop a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share, and if you drop a like, you get a cookie. There you go.
That's not a promise, but
Drop a
hopefully.
like. Bree will buy you a cookie.
No, I will not. I am broken.
Bree has limited cookies.
I'll tell you. No.
You'll get one of these candies.
First 3 people to like.
Danny like, bro. There you go.
Look, there's 3
Here,
likes.
Danny, you get the Hershey's.
Thank you. Notice all the snacks are from here to there, like, yeah.
You're actually.
Take it away.
We're sponsored by we're sponsored by various companies today.
I like
So-
it.
Sponsored by Hachitos.
So yeah, we've had a good week and a good Saturday and a good Sunday, and just want to share that it was a pretty tough, a tough week, but it was good. Good results, and thank God for that. And then we ended up with a beautiful service last night. And what do you guys think about the whole week, guys? Last week.
To be honest, I can't remember.
Anybody else?
Oh, I came back on Texas on Monday. When I came back, I was just in bed the entire day. That's all I remember.
Like a rest day?
Yeah, but then I wanted to go do stuff, and then, like, late, we all went to go out to eat, and I was like, man, we could have gone earlier. So we got there at 8, and we rested till like 12. No, we rested till like 3. And 3 is when I go to the skate park on Monday. So I was like, Caleb, let's go. We're going to skate park.
About the week in general, like.
Oh, the week in general?
Okay,
It
yeah.
was a pretty
Alright.
good week.
It was okay.
You go into details what you do and everything.
It wasn't that much. Nothing much happened.
But
Just a
yeah,
regular week back home.
Nasa, you want to share something? Happened?
Besides the
Salud.
Oh my gosh.
Pineapple.
Oh.
I mean, what?
Yeah. No, I mean I had a normal week. I was in Almani. I wasn't here, but just homework, honestly.
HW.
Oh yeah, you're online, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah.
Transferring out in 2 months, hopefully. So. Homework.
How's the transferring going?
Smooth, but a lot of universities want you to make, even if you don't choose them, they want you to make non-refundable deposits. So Riverside's asking for 250, non-refundable. San Bernardino's asking for 100, non-refundable.
Do San Bernardino. It's kind
I'm
of
doing San Bernardino,
Bernardino.
and it's due by like Friday, so.
Oh.
You decided where you're going?
Huh? I think San Bernardino.
Donations, please.
Because I'm thinking UCR, they cover all your costs if you're full time. But if you slip up, like Lydia mentioned to me that she did, they make you charge, and she's like thousands of dollars in debt. So.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like a couple, but I don't want that. So maybe San Bernardino.
San Bernardino sounds like the way to go.
They didn't pass that thing to like forgive like $10,000, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not
For
sure.
students.
I
Yeah.
didn't-
No, they didn't pass it. Like,
Still in the works.
Hopefully.
you could go there.
I was like, they should let me know now. I gotta choose now.
Trash them scoundrel.
But yeah,
But yeah, so you
Thy
got
shall
transfer
no
then
longer
too.
yeah, that's hopefully. I'm
You
going on a
transfer to
math
the
class.
inland
To the
empire.
The IE.
Welcome.
Don't you live in the IE? Isn't
No.
El Monte the IE or is
No.
No, it's
LA.
LA County.
Moreno Valley's the IE?
Yes.
Yep. Yep.
Are we
The
the
inland
IE?
empire.
Yes.
Yes, we are.
My boots, man.
So yeah,
I'm out of here. I'm going with
I
the
want to welcome the audience again. Thank you for being here.
The live audience.
We got Sister Luz right there, like Light. Light.
I was like, who?
No, Sister Light. But
Sister
Luz.
Light. Can you say back in Spanish?
Hi, we got someone special on the audience too.
Mama Luz.
Hi, bro.
Hi.
Hermanos micros.
This is one of the
Micros.
Micros.
Microondas.
The Wall family. Thank you for visiting us. I didn't see Sister Agua, Hermana Agua today.
We got hermana, got her, we got hermana Greek.
But yeah, everybody, thank you for being here. Juan, hermano Juan, I know you're in there. Enjoying the day off. Me too. I enjoy my day off today. Yeah.
Today's my day off
I miss
too.
I can't start Monday.
Yeah, honestly.
Maybe if
yeah.
you're watching.
So yeah, and then just wanted to go over like the highlights of Friday, which is Hermano Hernan preached on Friday, so
It's late.
we're gonna go over that and then talk about what happened last night. I mean, yesterday at the service. Also, just go over the preaching, just the highlights. So yeah, you wanna tell us? Okay, do you guys remember what he preached about on Friday?
You didn't have a title, did you?
No.
No, I just called it. The title was Friday Preaching.
Friday. That's
All
right.
That was the title.
But the story that he used,
The what?
the story in the Bible.
Oh, I'll buy you guys Starbucks if you guys remember the specific verses, bro.
I know.
Alright, so we're gonna go watch the.
I translated, so I'm
Me,
checking my
can I
highlights.
say it?
Alright, I'm gonna go watch the stream on my way.
Anybody online?
You guys can't look it up. You guys
Anybody online?
No, I'm looking at my highlights because I translated.
Let's study.
Look at
What was
Brandon.
it?
We'll split the drink.
But it was alright.
Stay
New
by
Testament.
Starbucks.
Okay, look, you referenced Ecclesiastes. I know you did.
Yes.
Was it something in Matthew, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
I'm not even looking. Like
I
Matthew,
remember
right?
you say.
Okay, you want the
Matthew
verse or you want the
one.
story?
I want the verse.
The
Okay.
verse?
Because I remember when you said. I remember when you
Ah,
said
you can say the
Ecclesiastes.
story. You can tell
No.
me the story, but like
Not-
I want
I
to.
remember when you were like
Brandon.
talking about
Brandon got
Ecclesiastes.
it.
You were like,
Brandon got
What
it.
was it?
You got it
It's
right
right
here.
there.
What is it?
Rich young man.
Okay.
oh,
That's the story.
man.
That's what the story. But where is that found in the Bible?
Ecclesiastes.
It's like 2 or 3 of the Gospels.
Because I remember you
I
pointed
know.
out
I'm just like throwing it
before
out
telling
there.
the story, you're like, everyone thinks Ecclesiastes is so depressing. You're like, I don't think that.
That was after. That was okay. So the first verse I gave was in Matthew.
Okay.
Ah.
Dang, bro. Hey, that's unfair, bro.
Hey, you took
So
notes?
you getting Starbucks?
And I was looking at the old slides.
Where's that? Where's that located in verse 19? What verse?
16. 16. 17.
Well, then now I know who don't. You know what?
So Brandon's getting.
I get both of you guys one.
Oh, it's fine. I was just kind of guessing.
You got
it.
the
I wasn't-
verse. I heard you first, and I heard him later. But he got
The
the
chapter.
chapters.
Yeah. No, sure.
So you guys got.
I wasn't even competing for that. I was just like, I need to know which
Brandon, we
one.
getting Starbucks, Brandon?
I get you guys grandes.
They have one.
The
Give me
tiniest
Something.
one.
You know what? I get you guys puppuccinos, bro.
venti water. Take it or leave
Cappuccino?
it.
We got Boo Boo and Jack's puppuccino. Boo Boo is just like so ugly drinking that puppuccino. Like
You give
Boo
him
Boo's just
coffee.
ugly.
No, puppuccinos are like whipped cream.
Yeah.
But
Why?
it's a dog. Because dogs love whipped cream for some reason.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Random chocolate.
So all right, so we
He's like,
got
give
two
me-
winners. We got Asa and we got Brandon.
Well, I could have said it. I could have
No, girl, you wrote it. You wrote the whole list.
Bro, you're gonna get a Starbucks anyways.
I know.
Regardless.
Like, I'm married. I'm stuck with you, man.
Can I get one?
Sure, yeah. Yeah.
Like, you know what I found really interesting about Friday though? I think before the preaching ever started, I wanna admire the worship that happened that day too. I don't know what it was.
On Friday?
Yeah. Like you literally got in here. You guys you guys went straight into it. I think who was you're my MC, right? And it literally just went straight into it. And not even like a couple minutes in the worship, you could already hear like angels.
Wow.
Like I think that to me that's what blew my mind. And like I was telling up there, yeah, I was trying to mention it to Pastor, but like I couldn't make the right signals, and I look like I look kind of crazy.
Like, it's
I was
hot
like,
in here, Pastor.
I was pointing at the room.
And he was going like,
He's like, hey, man.
Yeah.
My dad, is he on drugs?
No, but I heard them. I heard them, and I was like, wow, this is wonderful. That
you know
can
what?
feel the Holy
Let
You're
Spirit.
not the only one.
You don't walk in straight like
Abby,
Mhm.
the
The little girl.
no, not the little girl, but the wife. When
Oh.
she left on Sunday, she said she meant to tell me that last Sunday she said that
Oh,
she
yeah.
was able to hear angels in here.
It was a really good Sunday.
She said she was saying that, and then she goes, and then you mentioned it. I was like, all right then.
It's a very supernatural thing that
Yeah, it's
you
crazy.
can actually audibly hear, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like more voices than there is technically
Normally,
in the house.
yeah.
See, that's why when I say open up your spiritual ears, that's what it means, because not everybody heard them.
Yeah.
You know, I hear them every time, but you know, I don't say because people think I'm crazy. So and I'm the only one.
Yeah.
No, I
but
be hearing them
now-
all the time. I'm like, whoa, they sound really nice.
So now you guys know to open up your spiritual ears and don't trip,
sing
don't get
so
scared,
hard.
you know.
I think
You're
even
gonna be like,
just
who's
when
singing?
even just when the church is in sync, like when the instruments stop for a second, because that typically happens like on a Sunday. It's really good to hear everyone just kind of lose that.
Yeah.
Oh, like I'm embarrassed. Like everyone's
No,
like,
but
no.
everybody's singing together in like
Yeah.
unity. That's
That's
beautiful in itself too.
That's why I lower the music, because you know, when they're ready to worship and we get in there, you get me? Like,
Yeah.
before we used to stop with the music and everybody would say quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
I remember
no.
that.
I'll be like, I'm over here like, bro, is anyone?
Which is
okay?
boring, right? Because technically, then you're just standing there like, oh, this is a concert. When that's not
Exactly.
what it is.
That's why I like to lower the music and
Uh-huh.
just play music in the background so everybody can start singing
Yeah.
spontaneous worship
We're
and
hurting now.
just, you know, pray out loud. You know, that's go out loud. And that's a privilege because not all churches do that.
Mhm.
Because they already have, you know, everything's timed, and I understand that we have to have order in the church and, you know, time and stuff, but when it gets time, you don't put time to God.
Yeah, you can't limit it.
You can't tell the Holy Spirit, do not move, because
Yeah, you
we
can't say,
have
like-
we have from 2 to 2:30. You know,
I remember when we used to go to like the conferences, like when we went to New York, they were very like on time with their worship. Like it was like worship, and then it's like, oh, let's go straight, like go into it, like
Yeah.
again.
and
Like,
you
it
wanted to
wasn't
keep
like-
going. Huh?
Yeah, to me, I think that's why I wasn't used to that, you know, because here it's like, you know, you let the Holy Spirit do whatever He wants, and He runs it sometimes.
He's
And
like, "Look, this is my show."
You can tell, you
Yeah.
can tell on those days when He wants to run it,
Yeah.
because it goes for more than you usually,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, and that's when I just let it go. You know, like I don't. Sometimes I want to stop, but then I was like, nah.
Yeah,
And
Friday was something else. I could even feel it from back there. I could tell
It's like it
that was
was
just something else.
Yeah, it was like really good. Like even when I worked at Amazon too, like when I would watch it through the live, you could literally hear the angels too. Like when I would be working, I had my AirPods in, I would have to sneak them in. You could literally like when we would worship, I'm like, wow, you could feel it through the phone. Like that's how crazy how if you want it that bad, God will let you.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And that's also because Friday, like I don't really pay attention like who's here and stuff. Like a lot of churches, they wait for people to get there and then start singing.
Mhm.
Not me.
No,
You know,
no,
it's whoever's gonna be here needed to be here. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's something my dad's been telling me to do. Cause I remember when I was on Tuesday, I was like, there wasn't that many people here. There's like 8 of us, and I was like, Dad, should we wait? It was like already like 7:40. He said, no, just start. I was like, are you sure? Cause I would wait, but my dad's just trying to push me more into saying, just start without. If they're not here, then they're not here. They should have been here on time if they wanted it.
Because basically by like 7:30, whoever's here is gonna be here. That's it.
Yeah,
you know?
that's it.
Or 2 o'clock on Sundays. You know, it's not like
Only,
by 2.
it's only
Like,
rare.
it's not like by 2:10 the church's gonna get full. You know.
It's only rare when like people come late.
But you know, that's why I don't look around and say, oh, it's only like 5 people here. Like on Friday there was a little bit of people,
Mhm.
but that's how it needed to be.
Yeah.
I mean, so whoever was here, like you guys and myself, and if there's only one of the praise teams, until we're practicing on Thursday, and I told the guys, man, I just felt like going to minister, like when we're singing on Thursdays, because then you start singing, you get into it, like, okay,
Yeah.
we're practicing, and then I just come back like, oh, okay, but that's awesome, you know how worship is. People don't understand, but it's like
That's why.
I
when
transform myself singing up there.
yeah, people don't see it, but like when you're up there, you see it. Like if you play like piano or if you play the drums and you see it and you hear everything go quiet, you see everything. Like you see how everyone's reacting and it's crazy, and then you have to focus on what you're doing. That's why it's like for me being a musician, I would like rather be here, but I have to do something. I have to go up there and do something because I know no one else is gonna do it. God could send other people, but He has the plan for me, you know. And then it's crazy. I've seen many things. I've seen so much happen from just being up there, and it's crazy. You could tell when the people aren't connected. You could tell when people are connected
And
because
you feel it.
you feel it. Literally, you feel it. When people aren't connected, I get tired. I get tired when I get off. I'm like, dang. And when people are connected, and I come off, I come off warm, not like sweating, but warm, just warm. Because that's how you can tell they're connected. Like a couple, it was like a while ago. Not that many people were connected, and I come back and I'm tired, and I'm just like, man. And I was cold and I was sweating, and I was like, man, this is a horrible feeling. And that's when I started to feel like, okay, you know. And you could tell like when there's times where I just let go and I just start playing whatever, and like you feel connected. You feel the entire church is moving. That's what happened. That's for me. That's what happened on Friday. On Friday, that is what happened. Literally, like I just started playing whatever, and then it just everyone just started letting go, and it's crazy and it's also like fun at the same time to see all that. And when people start speaking in tongues and you hear that quietness, you know someone's gonna go up and speak. That's why it's always being exciting being up there. It's never the same. It's always a different experience.
That was the preaching, Charlie. There you go, boy. But yeah, just to round up the to close down the worship part, so we can go into Hernan. It is important for the church to get connected. I know there's a lot of people connected right now online, girl. But I know some people go and watch it after. You know, just try to stay connected on Sundays. When everybody's connected, it's like the electricity. You know, like you plug it in on one point and everything turns, like all the lights and stuff.
It's beautiful.
And when it's not, when everything's pulling from one outlet, it's draining. Like that's what Charlie's talking about.
It's draining.
Because we feel it, like we're singing, and when there's not connection with I call it the walls. It's like it's called like the front wall, which is like, and then the back wall is the musicians, and then God, and then the singers. But the front wall is the one that is always hard to break at times when they're not connected, which is you guys, the congregation. And when they're not into it, it's like you're pulling like, and you're trying, and then you feel like you're not singing good. You feel like you're not giving it all, but it's not even us, you know. I mean, but it is what it is. I've dealt with this for years already. And because somebody asked me one time, like, why did I feel like I didn't sing today? Like, I didn't do good today. And I told the person, it's not you, you know, because I felt that the connection wasn't there. Maybe one or two are connected, but when everybody's connected, it happened what happened last Sunday. Not yesterday, but the previous Sunday. When it was like, whoop. It was like what's it called? Like the firecrackers, the fireworks? The Mexican ones.
The Mexican ones?
You get one and it goes, bah, 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 like all of them. So that's what it happened. That's what happens.
I know these past few Sundays, like, I know last Sunday I wasn't here, right? No. These past few Sundays, we've, like, seen glimpses of that. Of, like, maybe half of the church is connected. Maybe like, a part of the church is connected. But when everyone's connected, it's like, something great. It's something beautiful. And it's, like, I was talking about this with my mom. And she was like, you know, it's just... She told me, like, what do you think about worship? And I'm just like, whenever I go up there, like, for a musician to be connected, you have to not play for people. Literally, every time I'm up there, and right before we start, I pray, I say, this is for you, God. No matter what happens, even if I mess up, it's for you. And it's crazy, because when you give it to Him, that's when you start going off. That's when you start, when everyone gets connected. And it's like something else. It's another experience that's just great. Sorry for like sending to you.
Trying to cut it.
But Hernal's preaching?
Yeah. No, he's not preaching. He's just gonna go, you know, ask questions and, you know, probably say something that we're gonna go off from there, you know, elaborate what happened.
Ask them
questions. I say like the piece of meat, like the shredded beef. You know, it's like a little piece. But you can make like a whole bunch of tacos and stuff. You go like this and then at the end of it.
Well, so let's get like one piece of meat. I think you can make a lot of different types of meats from it, like cuts. Yeah, you can either make fillets, like carne asada, or ground beef, you know, and all those different meats.
That's what we got at the house, right?
Yesterday. You got some tacos yesterday.
Especially with the
beef. And speaking of not being connected, actually.
Oh, here we go.
No. Can you imagine? You have money, you followed the 10 Commandments, you've done all that you can. But you still like, Jesus, what do I do? And when Jesus tells you and gives you the answer and you don't like it, you turn away. That's what happened with the ruler, right? I remember I'd given a class about that one time in like a cell group. And it was crazy to me because Jesus didn't go up to him like, hey, have you been faithful? He went and he's like, there's Jesus. I'm asking him, what can I do? And the stubborn dude didn't do it. And to me, it was kind of funny. I'm not, you know, I can't judge him because everyone has that one weak spot, but he really asked him, like, what else can I do? Do this. What more can I do? Okay, I'll tell you what you can do. Do this. I don't like that. And he walks away.
Because literally, the entire point, if you're going to hear out advice, you're not going to like it. Because advice is going, like, against you for you to change. That's why whenever someone comes up to me with a problem, And I'm like, I'm sorry if it's not what you want to hear, but it's what you need to hear. I tell them, I'm like, if you're gonna be giving me attitude, that's what you need to hear. Literally, that's it. Because
we went there.
Yeah, we went there. Controversy.
So you got that card.
It's confrontation.
Yeah,
but it's like confrontation with yourself. Like,
yeah, because if you really love that person, you would want them. You want to help them out. You want to help them have a better life. But since they're stubborn or it's whatever, that advice just goes in and goes out.
Yeah, like when Hernan was telling me the story, I was like, I could think of reasons why, like the guy didn't want to let go because those were his like items,
He probably earned them.
Yeah, like how would you feel like if God told you to like, hey, sell all your things and come, But like that's the price, that's the sacrifice, If he sacrificed his life for us, why can't we do the littlest thing in sacrificing our time or something like that too? Mm-hmm. But I put myself there too, because I live with God. But
well, there.
Yeah.
That's what to me when I was reading the verse. To me, I think that's what I got from it. Like, I think I've read this. Like that's why I asked at the beginning. I've read it so many times, and you would just kind of read it through. But I think to me, like when God showed me, it was just like, look at what I asked him, and he only asked him 6. And sometimes I feel like Jesus asked these certain questions to us that really, at the end of the day, are rhetorical, because we know the answer to them, and it's just kind of like he asks us, and we're actually thinking about what we're gonna say. We're gonna respond.
Do you think he kind of wanted to brag about it too? Like maybe
the guy or Jesus?
Yeah, because if he's done what's right, he could have said, "Oh Jesus, I've done this. What more can I do?" So what can I do? Keep the 10 Commandments. I've did that since I was a kid. Like, okay, dude, congrats. Like, we're all Jewish. Relax.
Yeah,
right?
And that's why I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. Say he did, but there's still other ones that he didn't keep, like those 4. They all had to do with God. And who knows? Like the last one, I think the one I said, remember to keep the Sabbath. I don't know if he did, because that one you could say maybe that's where he got a lot of his money.
Because he never rested.
Working a little.
Maybe he never rested. Maybe he was always working, or he never gave it a break. Even on those holy days that needed to be dedicated to God, maybe he did work.
So maybe just the other 4 he didn't listen.
Yeah,
he didn't follow.
And those are the ones that pertain to him. Maybe he is a good person, and the Bible says there is none. But to me, it's just like those are the most important, to be honest. Because those are the ones that God gave first to Moses.
Yeah.
And all of them were like, yeah, this is afterwards. After you learned, love your God, you should not have any other idols.
And then the 4 come after.
And after that, it's keep the Sabbath, and then it's like it starts with the human interactions.
Yeah.
And if you look at them, they do have to deal with human interactions. It's like don't murder. Well, you can't murder someone without doing something with that person. So, I thought it was really interesting the way that the guy, or that Jesus talked to the guy like that.
Yeah. Because if you see a story in a different perspective, it's an entirely different preaching. Like I'm gonna use an example, like with Job. There's so much that you could use in that.
Yeah.
There's so much like you think it's because Job didn't talk to God. Maybe we can make a preaching about talking to God, or Job went through the worst and he still came out. Maybe make a preaching about that. And it's just so much in your perspective.
You know what? It's crazy though, like about the story of Job and about the story with the rich man. Both got confronted by God in different ways. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, you're right.
Like I was just thinking about that. I was like, wow, like because I remember I was reading a little bit of Job, and the way God confronted Job was like so scary to me. Like I was like, oh shoot, I would not be wanting to. Yeah, but God still does it, but He does it with His grace and His love, too. Like even with the rich man, I feel like Jesus was talking to him normal. Like He's like, okay, well go sell your other things, because I feel like Jesus had that calmness to Him, like if you actually think about it, because there's this show that we watch and it puts everything in a whole different perspective. It's called The Chosen, and it's actually really good. Like it shows different perspectives, and I'm like, wow, like imagine Jesus just talking to you calmly sometimes, like and Him telling you like, hey, just go sell your things, but then He could be like, but then we could take it like, hey, like, oh, I don't want to, or it's just scary sometimes when confrontation comes to you in that type of way, like, and sometimes, but I feel like God tells us in a calm manner, and we just take it
maybe
like, the wrong way,
with that, like how God confronted the man and Job, maybe is like maybe you need to confront people in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Some people you need to chop
Go
off the head,
ahead.
and then other people you just need to, hey, just go this way, you
Mhm.
know. And yeah, that's crazy. I barely just thought of that because
It's
you thought,
crazy,
yeah,
huh? Like, what? Yeah, because when I was sitting here too, when he says like, oh, you know, what about Job? Like, what was the difference? You know, bless you. That they both get confronted too. Like, I was thinking about it. I was like, whoa, like Job got confronted by God. God, you know, God asked him like, were you there when I formed the earth? And I was like, oof, like, oh,
And look at that.
Mhm.
God was the one that called him righteous.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, this is a righteous man, a man who does like good, like. And to me, like when I hear that, you know, I think to me you know, the way that you can get different preachings out of it too. It's like, to me, it's just like you can be on the right path to God, but sometimes like you may want to question him when bad things happen, but it's like there's no right to ask him those things because it's like there's good in it.
Mhm.
Like I've always, like, to me, that's why even in this, like I always take it that there's good even in the things that we feel like there is no good.
Yeah.
Like what good comes to me if I sell all my stuff, if I leave everything and I give it all to the poor? Well, one thing, you're benefiting the poor. You're giving all your money, and if it says he was rich, he must have had money,
Yeah.
like a good amount of it. And at the end of the day too, he wasn't losing anything.
Yeah.
Cause if he gave, like, you know, how it says, you know, don't store up treasures here in on earth,
Yeah.
but in heaven. Imagine if he would have heard that. Do you think he would have thought about it? To be honest,
I feel like I feel like he would have just like given it away.
Well, I think he did hear it and he still didn't want to. Because verse
Okay.
21 says, Jesus answered, if you want to be perfect, go, sell your possessions and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. And then the young man heard this and he went away sad. And I think
He's like,
that's...
hey,
The thing, bring it to now times.
offering.
How many times? No,
Oh,
leave
the
offering
offering,
aside.
I was like, what?
When God speaks to you
Mm.
and we don't listen to him.
Yeah.
That's
Like we
all
know,
of us.
like we know the answer, right?
Yeah.
And we're like, oh,
Like we know what we need to do, but it's just the doing it part.
The
Like,
discipline.
yeah.
Right.
And it's more like obedience too. Like it comes with obedience, and that's something like God was showing me too. Like there's obedience in the things we do, like tithes and offering too. You could say that too. You could give your tithes and stuff, and you could do all that stuff, but you be broke the whole week. But you're like, God, like, what does that mean?
He's
But
gonna come through.
he always comes through no matter what, you know.
Mhm.
But it's just the obedience and just doing the simple act
Mhm.
too, and that could be one of the things
Because
too.
it's just like, it's hard to listen, but when you listen, you get so much more out of it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, and like you don't look cool. Like, my bad, I can't talk.
It's good.
It's like you listen to what God said, and you don't look cool in front of a certain person. It doesn't matter what that person thinks.
Mhm.
It matters what God thinks. You know.
Yeah.
It's like you always just gotta listen because no matter what, God's gonna repay you for that. But you gotta do it with an act of kindness.
Yeah.
and it's obedient and also trusting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know, like the rich man, I guess he didn't trust.
No.
So that's what I see it like. Okay, I'm gonna sell everything. What am I gonna do? You know, I'm not just gonna live under a tree. You know, and sometimes when God speaks to us, it's not that we don't trust Him. I mean, it's not that we don't want to listen, but sometimes we don't trust Him. Like, oh, what if I do this? God, are you gonna back me up? You know, like for instance, like I know someone that is always struggling with the same thing, like the same thing. And then he tells me, oh, I have a friend that he was going through this, and I told him this and this and that, and what to do. And I was like,
But you can't do it for
Yeah.
yourself.
I was like, hey, I told him, okay, just shush, listen to what you just said right now, and you're gonna hear myself telling you those stuff. He goes, you know what? Yeah. And what can you follow it? You know, now that we're talking about this, it's like trust. You know,
Yeah, because
sometimes you don't want to let go of pain because we're so comfortable in our little comfort zone. Like, no. But what if I let go of the pain? What's gonna fulfill that emptiness? You know, if I let go of that person, who's gonna fulfill that? You know, emptiness. So I guess that's what the rich man also was thinking. You know, if I let go, it's a little scary. Yeah.
And it's also like we've seen what happens when we trust in God. Like if for instance with Peter, he walked on water and that's because he trusted on God. Like when you trust on God, so much happens that's good for you. So you know you're gonna be marked as someone that trusts God, and it's like with Peter, he was marked down in history for that. So if you trust in God, many good things will happen to you.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
And I like what you said about the offering too. I don't want to touch it because it's so delicate and some.
But that's like personal with me too. Like
it is
it's
personal.
hard.
Yeah.
Like it's hard. Like me giving God my last $60. You know, those are my tithes. You know, but like, hey, I needed that throughout the week. But I know God had got us yesterday for food. Like it's crazy. Like.
And I like that you brought it up because I'm as you know, I'm like, I count the money, people out there, you know.
Yeah.
The treasurer.
And
Yeah.
I like the title, but yeah. But I see the sacrifices. I know people needs, and I know everything, and I know when someone's giving their last, you know. And sometimes, you know, I'm collecting the money. I'm nobody to say don't give it, keep it to yourself, because I don't want to take you away from that blessing that you're about to receive from God. And I see a lot of miracles. A lot of miracles when they give it and then they say, Danny, look, God bless me with this. It's like, you know, and then like, and it's not just people think it's just giving, you know, of what you work. It's everything that you receive, that your hands receive. It's not necessarily just what you work for. Even if you don't work for it, but if God gives you, you need to give out of that. Give the 10%. Give your offerings. You know, because I've seen it. And the youngsters like you guys, I was like, dang, I wish it could have been like that when I was that age, you know, because I didn't have the faith. I didn't have. But now that I see you guys and I see the girls, you know, I don't want to say the names because I don't want to expose them, but when they give offerings and then God is blessing them, I was like, whoa, you know, that's awesome. And because they trust God, you know, they learn how to trust God. And I lack of that when I was you guys' age, but, you know, now we see it. And it was only a little bit of time, you know, but then I said trusting God. I said, you know what, God, I trust you even though I don't trust you, even though I don't feel you, even though I don't, God, I trust you, you know. Sooner or later it's gonna kick in, and the faith is gonna grow because faith grows through hearing and hearing the word of God. So maybe you don't have faith, but once you hear more and more and more and more, you're like, okay, now I trust, you know. So
Wasn't there a woman, I know the woman, you guys have heard the story of the woman who gave her last 2 cents.
We said the last penny.
Was she sick?
everything that she had.
No,
she
I
was
think
a
she
widow,
was just
a
a
widow.
widow, yeah.
And I don't think she received anything after that, right?
Well, the Bible doesn't speak of it.
Yeah,
Probably
they left it, you know. But God gave, God blessed her, you know.
It makes you think though, because
oh my gosh,
it wasn't that it was like bad. Like she gave her 2 cents, and I think what she got was the recognition, like from Christ. I mean, like this woman's faith is big.
Yeah.
And to me, that I don't think she did it for any other reason than that. Even if that's all that Christ gave you, you know, just the
to be
recognition.
recognized by your Creator is.
He's like, you know what?
Yeah.
What you just did was full of faith. And imagine you give. It's like, you know, we always say, you know, give without expecting anything in return. And I think that's a mindset that really has to be set in sometimes. Because if like I'm giving, okay, God, here's my 20, here's my tithes, and I expect something in return from you, like, to me it's just like, you know, God at the end of the day, he's the one who rules all over all the money. If he decided not to give me anything, and I expected him to give me, I'd probably be very disappointed in him.
You're disappointing yourself with your own expectations.
And I think having that mentality, it's like, here, God, this is what I owe you, and that's it, you know.
And it's a normal day. Like, it's not special that you're giving it. It's you have to. You should.
And I think that's what the widow, I think if look at her, the mentality she had was, this is my last. I need to eat, but here, this is more important. And I think that the dedication of her was, you know, it was well rewarded. Because now, look at her faith, where her faith has brought her. She's mentioned in the Word of God.
And more so, it served for Jesus to teach the disciples something. It's like her suffering or her sacrifice created something that she might not have even known. Because I'm not fully sure that Jesus walked up to her and said, like, oh, like, you know, congrats. But it served because then Jesus said, hey, come here, right? Just as we were. And he could be like, you see those dudes? They're giving because they have a bunch of it. Who knows if this guy was there? And like, those fools, that doesn't hurt them. Her, that hurts her. She's disciplining her flesh to not need it. And to trust, I think, is also a detachment issue. You have to detach yourself from what you do trust and attach yourself to God.
But it's like the man.
that
It's also like with the disciples too. Like, you know, when Jesus, I remember reading the book of Matthew in the first, like the beginning chapters. You know, when Jesus called all the disciples, you know, what does he tell them? I got 3 points from it. It was like, you know, he tells them, leave all your things behind.
Follow
you know,
me,
yeah,
right?
follow me and like come with me. You
I'll
know,
make you a fisher of men.
yeah,
was
like
it, right?
yeah, and he was telling Peter that, and I was like, you know, and I find that so crazy, you know, because that's literally faith. Like, you know, Peter left
Yeah.
everything he knew. He left
His
even
wife.
his wife too. Like, you know, that's crazy. Like,
Amen.
no,
I like
but
that.
yeah, but he left his
Damn.
wife.
God comes
like,
first.
Yeah. And he left everything, but you know, he
I'm
saw
sorry,
all the
Brie.
miraculous things. You know, he learned how to depend literally with God with him, even though Peter still had his doubts. You know, that's crazy, and God was literally right next to him. Like, come on, that's cool. Like all the disciples had them, but I feel like it's harder for us because we're seeing without believing. But like literally, that's what he tells us to do, you know. And kind of it ties in with Pastor's class too, you know, not to worry on the, you know, he said not to focus on the past, but live in the present, live in the now. You know, it doesn't matter what we have, and not focus so much on the future because tomorrow is never promised either. You know, to live like a child, like Pastor was saying, like have that mindset of it. And I remember. When Pastor was explaining that to me, I told Pastor, I was like, Pastor, I got this class like almost 2 years ago, like when I first started here,
I
you know?
remember that.
Yeah, and I told
I
him,
overheard that. But
yeah, and I was like, yeah, Pastor, like literally the same verses and everything. And I was like, but God could be simply reminding me too, like when Pastor brought it up, because I always felt like it was never a good time to preach that or give that word,
But
you
you
know?
weren't ready.
Yeah, and I wasn't ready. Simple as that. And I was like, wow, like, you know, like, okay, it's not my time, but I still understood God in that too. Like, I was like, okay, but I needed it in a time where I am right now too, you know? And I was like, wow, like, it's so true. Like, God will always bring up things or remind you things in his own timing. Like, hey, be like a child again, you know? Like, be my child, you know?
I do love that he mentioned that of a child.
Mm-hmm.
I think that a child aspect of not worrying about your parents, because your parents provide,
Yeah.
and you're never like, I'm not gonna have anything to eat tomorrow, because it's like you've gone through so much. I think it's like you get used to it.
Yeah.
When your parents provide for you, you're like, oh yeah, you know,
Yeah, you don't
I
doubt
understand.
that, right.
Tomorrow, same day, I'm gonna have food to eat in the morning, so for lunch and dinner, you know, I'm always gonna have that food there, and I think to me that speaks a lot, you know. And maybe it is like, you know, I like how Danny mentioned that about, you know, maybe he didn't trust Jesus enough to let go of his stuff, and it ties into the class as well, like Pastor's class,
Like children trust him.
the trust, and it really is that, and it's hard to develop that trust sometimes.
It really is.
Because it's like, you know, I know a lot, everyone here on this table, we know that God comes through when we have that trust. But I know a lot of people don't have it yet. And it's hard for them to give their everything. And I feel like when you give your everything to God, God shows you that he is your everything. Like, he fills those areas that need to be filled, and he gives you that faith. And it reminds me of the man who asked, you know, help me believe and help me take care of my unbelief. I think it's like he asked to be healed of his unbelief, because he knew, he believed, but he wanted to get rid of the doubt that was in him for those, you know, those moments. So to me, I think it's a wonderful thing to, at the end of the day, those classes all revolved around trust.
Yeah. I really like the Jesus preaching. So now moving into Jesus preaching, I like the example that he gave about the little girl.
Oh, that was
Oh,
so sad. I cried.
That hit me because
See.
I did not know she had that.
She's family, no? Your family?
Yeah, she's family, but when they were gonna pray for her, I was showering. So I was like, oh, she's, you know, I thought she was normal. I didn't know anything. And when my dad said that yesterday, that hit me. I was like, I told you, huh? I was like, I didn't even know she had it. And
She's
like,
normal. She's just, you know.
oh, I know. I know that. But I just didn't know, like, I didn't ask her how she was feeling or anything. She just looked so full of life. I was like, dang, like, I even.
You were saying?
I don't know why.
She was so full of life.
Yeah, she was so full of life, and it was just like, it just hit me. Like, I didn't know. I was like, dang.
And it's so true because if you think about it, the older we get, the more crybabies we get.
Yeah.
The more what?
Crybabies, like more
Like we
sensitive,
become, yeah.
more like. Because when you're, I remember like he was playing with the kids yesterday at Pastors.
Oh.
And I think I told. I think I told Osita. I was like, man, I wish you can be a kid again, you know? Not to be, like, just be like, because I saw Leo and then I saw them just like on socks and just walking around and like, they're just eating like whatever and they're just like chilling like on the sofa.
Yeah.
Like, and I have memories when I was little. I mean, I remember a lot of things. My mom says, like, you remember? I remember I was a year and a half. I remember falling off a high chair. And she says, you remember? I was like, yes, I remember the color of the chair, like the way it was. And she's like, you were a year old, like, and I was like, I remember.
That is pretty early. I'm shocked you remember as well.
Yeah, and then I remember also like on the shower,
Uh-huh.
like Carlos, you know, like the little one wants to do what the oldest,
Uh-huh.
you know,
Yeah.
brother.
They-
And I remember he would like get on the shower and he would just jump, you know, like, and I did the same thing and I would shoot, boom, and I hit my head, sorry, and then I hit my head and I was like, ah, and I started crying, and the things, memories, you know, but they're good memories that, you know, like
Yeah, you hold.
the only thing that you worry about was just to go to sleep, you know, like, and up in the fridge and the food was there and.
Everyone reminds me of my childhood memories.
No, it was just right.
Yeah, I
Like,
know.
you
let
just
you
hear-
live it down.
I remember Danny.
But then, like, and
this
to
kid
be
should
like
like
that
this.
again, like in the spiritual way, I don't know.
And
You
then
know,
it's
it's like it's weird because now once you grow older and you go through all this,
Yeah.
you go through your storms and through your valleys and stuff, and then people hurt you, and trust again is like,
Yesterday,
but
I wanted to say something, but it was like I was like, nah, I'm about to make.
Yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday. I wanted to say something, but I was like, you know, everyone's gonna get all hurt. Yeah, it was like how can a child, you know, like get hurt by some kid, some random kid, and then the next day they don't care, but we get hurt when someone doesn't say hi to us.
well, that's why Pastor said it. You know,
That's-
that's why
that's
he
right.
preached about it.
Yeah, I was
I
just
think
like,
it was like clear. Like
Yeah,
you
I
don't
was
get it.
like-
Like hello.
like children, they get disciplined. Like even when I get disciplined, I don't even get mad. I'm like, okay, thank you for telling me. But when other people get disciplined, they start crying about it. They say, oh no, I shouldn't be changing for that, for this and that. They don't want to change, while kids are just like, they don't care.
They're more shapeable.
I mean, they get mad at that moment.
Yeah, obviously.
But also
It's all
But then they
fair.
let it go,
Yeah,
you know.
they
and
let
I
it
feel
go
like
and they
that's how we
know
should
not
be.
to do
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah,
And,
like
like-
we should just be like kids in that aspect where like if you get hurt by something, just let it go. They like forget literally within seconds because like their mind expand is like not as, you know, as developed as ours. You know, that's why they are more teachable, you know. That's why they are more like they're capable of learning new things, you know, because they're children, you know. But that's why I feel like God wanted to show us that too, like, you know, to be like them in that way too, you know. Like not to be so emotional, like when kids cry, like how Pastor was saying, you know, not to have the emotional part, but to have the mindset sometimes, like just to forgive and let it go, you know. Don't hold on to grudges because that makes you bitter in the end, you know. Like I feel like
like something something I just remembered right now is like when like say that like someone doesn't say hi to you and you start crying about it, you start acting like a kid instead of trying to like to be a kid. That's when you start acting like a little kid. You know, having their tantrum because this person didn't say hi, or this person didn't, you know, hug
But
me
you know what?
today.
I got hope for you guys. It all depends. Okay, it's hope, but it all depends. You know how pastors been preaching about character, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is important to develop the character because if you guys know me, I don't hold grudges. Like I talk to people, and before I wasn't like that. Like you did something to me, I'll get you back. You know, like if you say something about me, I'll make something about you even worse. You know, and that's the way it was. You know, because I didn't have anybody that I didn't have a Danny at that time. I didn't have a Carlos, Pastor Carlos at that time. I didn't have leaders that would be on the way. Exactly. You know, you grew up like wild horses. You know, you get baptized and you're on your own because survive. That's the way it was. Sorry, this boy is like.
Jungle out here.
So then, there's hope. You know, the older you get, you start analyzing analyzing things, and you're like, it's not worth it, you know.
Yeah.
Why am I gonna stop talking to someone? What am I gonna? I know some people are old, and this is I haven't talked to people like for 20 years. You know, we heard stories and stuff, but I just don't know much anything because I don't want to get nobody in trouble. But like 2 years, like family members that don't speak. I was like, for me,
oh yeah,
like my family is like that. Like some family members are like that on my mom's side, and I hear like drama and stuff, and I looked at them and I was like, I'm glad we're not like you guys. You know, I'm glad that our generation broke with that, because all of our 47 cousins, we talk like if we see each other, we'll talk to each other.
Yeah.
You know, we're not close, but growing up, we didn't care. Our parents, they were always fighting. Like there was like Christmas, they're all. Can you imagine 12? My grandma had 12 kids, so it's 47 cousins. So it's like
my family.
it was like crazy, and they're all fighting and they're breaking hell over there, like in the house, dancing and drinking. And we're over here by the bonfire, like.
Over there
And
playing
we
tag.
kind of like made a promise that we ain't gonna be like them.
Yeah.
You know, we're not gonna be like them, and we broke with that. Even when my grandpa passed, the adults got in a fight, and when my grandma died, the adults got in a fight to see who's gonna keep a cup, who see who's gonna keep the plate, to see who's gonna keep my grandma's nightgowns and stuff. And we're like outside, like, really? Y'all making a big old fuss about it?
Sometimes the adults be acting like crybabies and the kids are acting like adults.
That's what I'm saying. Like, once you grow older, you develop that mechanism of saying, you know what, I'm gonna live my life.
Yeah.
You know, and if Asa hurts me, all right, Asa. Hey, what's up?
Yeah.
You know, you don't hate me. I know you don't hate me. I know nobody hates me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if they did something to me, it's because they're mature, or because they were mad, or it was the moment, the heat of the moment, you know. And you're gonna learn how to just let it go, like, and move on, you know. And that's what I'm saying. It's hope for you guys.
Yeah.
But you know, but you have to work
You're just gonna learn
to get
how
to the point. Yeah, you have to get to the. They used to call them hermanos de mantequilla, like butter brothers. So you get butter and you go. Shoo. So whatever they tell you, it's gonna slide down. You know, like it's not against me because you don't hate me. You know, you might. Hi, my guy's gordo. I don't like you. You don't like me now, but you're gonna like me later. You know.
And you make a good note of that, because my family's that my great grandma passed away. Stopped talking to half the family. In fact, it was just us, like my mom, my sister, my stepdad, and for years, like I had an uncle who practically raised me. We didn't talk to him. Why? Because my mom said not to. Why? Because the adults are childish. And I mentioned it to someone too. I was like, why are your parents like this? Like, it's not even like a Mexican thing. And anyone I ask, anyone I talk to, I'm like, are you cool with your family? They're like, no, we don't talk. Like, hey, do you have cousins? Yeah, but we don't talk.
That also goes into like because of what they were taught. You know, they don't know nothing of Christ too,
exactly.
and we
They
have
pass
to.
it on.
Yeah, like we have to be that example too.
We have to break that.
Yeah, like you break that generation.
Because I remember like being a kid, like people could be like fighting over there, and you're just like,
yeah. I mean, the kid. It's not the kids' beef. And it's terrible when they're like they kind of force you to like, no, you're picking a side. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I'm 12, dude.
like I just want to hang out with my family.
Yeah.
And that's it, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it's sad how like some families.
But once you grow older, you start noticing that it's affecting you.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
you're
yeah.
like, man, I'm developing these, you know, feelings
Habits
of
or these
I don't like
feelings.
you, you know.
Yeah.
Like, and that's when I said that you need to
Always
grow
have
up. That's when you need to change that in you,
Yeah, that's right.
and to say, you know what, I'm not gonna let that affect me,
Yeah.
because it takes time. It takes character to just let it go, because it feels so good when you hold something.
Yeah.
And you look at that person, you're just like, just to look bad at somebody, you know.
I feel like that almohada, like that pillow, that's an almohada de espinas.
Like
It's
a
like a
thorny
pillow
pillow.
of thorns. Like, you're like, oh, like, you know, like.
Pillows bring comfort, but that's harming you. The
Yeah.
harder you grip onto
So
it.
to me, I feel like that's what it is with like.
But when you're
Become
mature, you don't care,
Right.
because you like the pain.
You even start. Yeah, you start to like
and
the
you
pain.
and you think that by you being in pain, you're gonna hurt the person that hurt you. No.
You got it
No.
wrong.
What the
No,
heck?
we got it wrong. It is what it is. Cause
Yeah, 'cause
people
there's-
think like that. They'll go, I'm
it's like-
hurting, and they see me hurting.
It's like-
It's gonna be on their conscience, you know.
Because like
Yeah.
this has been said before, like you're hurting and the other person's over there living their life.
Yeah.
That's how it is. Like nah, like they're going through what I'm going through. No, they're not. You know, they're over there having a life, doing stuff, while you're over here crying, listening to Drake. Like, come on.
It's always the funniest to me too when I don't even think it's controversial. Sometimes it's an accident. Like Pastor was saying that we're bound to offend somebody with our behaviors or with our words. So like you said, like I might not know. I say a lot of dumb stuff. I might not know. There's probably someone watching. There's probably. Oh no, you don't have to.
Better apologize.
Right?
Apologize to everyone.
Right? Even the sound tech. So I'm thinking like, okay, no one's upset with me. But there have been times where people are like, hey, I was upset with you for this. And I have no problem apologizing. I go the full like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like that was out of line. But like some people don't know, right? And that maybe that person's thinking like, Asa suffering, and here I am saying more dumb stuff, and I don't even know like someone's offended with me.
But
It's
sometimes
funny.
when you say stuff and they don't tell you, that's their fault.
Yeah, right.
They're not
It's
saying,
not communicating.
they're not saying, oh, I'm sorry you offended me. No, like they're just like, I'm gonna keep on to this pain. And he's gonna know that I have pain.
As adults and Christians
should watch
and mature that we are, if I see Bree changing with me, I'm gonna have to say, Bree,
Oh yeah.
are you okay?
Yeah, okay.
But
I think
It
that's
could probably be even personal within the person's self, you know?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
they could be so in their head. Like, I know personally with me, I could be so in my head, I could, like, lose sight of you guys, too, in the process. And that's the craziest thing. Like, you could be so in your head, and you could forget the people around you, you know? And then sometimes you could snap on the people that, like, that love you the most, you know? I've done it. Personally, I've done it with, like, Mal, Hernan, you you my
Asa.
sister,
Asa.
Asa, you know, like, but I was just in my head, you know, like, fighting my own, a battle that I did. Yeah.
Because from my perspective, like, a pastor's kid, I've been through a lot of people that I've seen as, like, an older brother or sister, and they've left. And I could hold grudges. And then I see someone that, just because they made a joke, that they over there, they're all crying, you know? Like, my parents, like, they could be hating a whole church right now. No, they're not.
true.
They don't hate on them. They say, God bless them. And it's funny because my dad sometimes tells me, and he's like, he points it out, and he's like, why are they getting all hurt? Because someone said a joke that, like, it wasn't even that offensive.
Yeah.
And I get it.
Relationships you have with people too.
Yeah.
It depends. That's why communication.
I think that to me, I know like there's moments where I give you guys this example. You know, back in my cell group, there'd be people that would come, and me, Bree, and Nicole, and we have, I think Nora. We all have this relationship where we just like, you know, we're bagging on each other, because we all know each other, we all love each other. When we say these things, it's like we, you know, we don't mean it, but sometimes I feel like there's people that have been to our cell group where we've offended them like that, and we never knew what it was, you know. It's like you go back to the thing, you know, sometimes you never know when you offend someone, and you think, it's like, I know I've been guilty of it, where I thought that the way that I act with Bree, you know, Nora and Nicole is the same way that I could act with, like, you know,
Everyone.
with some other people, and those people end up getting offended, they hurt, and then they don't talk to us, and then we're left like what happened, like, did they lose God or something like that? But sometimes it really, you know, we do talk about the character, and it really is sometimes just people don't have that mantequilla, like Danny says, you
The
know.
butter.
Like,
They don't have
the
that
spiritual
butter to
butter.
be able to be like, oh yeah, you know, I know they're just joking, or you know, oh, I'm not gonna take offense to this because there's no reason for me to, you know.
And it could be just lack of communication too. That's like a big one too. Like sometimes me and Hernan get in this arguments because, you know, like it's just that lack of communication. Like, hey Hernan, like for example, Hernan, I want affection right now, please, like, you know. And he's like, but Hernan doesn't like. Hernan be on his tablet sometimes, and I'll be like, bruh, like I had to work all day, come home. I want to see my husband, but no, I don't get that. Hernan be on his tablet.
Hernan's watching
And I'm
Mortal
just like,
Kombat twice.
Yeah, and sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, like Hernan could be working, and I'm like, okay, good for him, you know, like he hasn't worked in a really long time, you know. But like, it's just that like,
bro, you get roasted
no,
on
I'm not
here,
trying
bro.
to say
I know she's not saying
in a
it.
bad way.
Do
But
you want a hug or do you want food?
No, I'm just saying like.
We got
pick one
We got
only.
bathrooms in the house. You know, we have a
Hey,
room in the back.
Dad, I think you need to.
No, but it is like the lack of communication because I'm not communicating what I want
That's
to
the chips.
in return. Like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Get it.
Yeah.
And
It
he
takes
could be
both
so
parties.
cool. Yeah, it's
Like
clueless.
with me and my
Guys
brother.
are like that though. Guys are clueless.
Yeah.
Like with me and my brother.
Yeah.
The way we act with each other, even our mom and dad tell us to stop. They think that we're like fighting each other. Literally, even at times I think he's just trying to like make me mad, and I'll be like in a mood, and he's like, "Bro, why are you in the mood?" I was like, "Bro, I was like, what the heck?" Like with certain people, like Brandon, when he makes fun of me, I'm just like, "Yeah, it's Brandon, bro. I don't care." Like for me, I don't care if you make fun of me. I'm just like, okay. But when it's me and Caleb, bro, we get into it. Like our version of making
It's
jokes.
personal.
Our version of making jokes is us beating each other up. That's like
roasting
our
each
version.
other, yeah.
It depends on the relationship, and it's funny because there's times where my mom's like, "I don't want you hitting him," but I'm like, "Mom, we're just messing around."
Yeah, like that
If
sometimes
you
too.
if you can see your
because
mom's
it's
face right
crazy.
now,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Like,
another
with-
year
I
without
could
the
get you
Xbox.
with the sibling part too, because me and Nicole could go at it sometimes, and like we could call each other all these names, you know. But sometimes I do notice like, oh, I said something wrong about Nicole, and she gets butthurt, you know, and I'm like, oh, dang it. I'm like, I'm sorry, but you.
Gets hurt.
Yeah, she does get hurt.
My butt hurt.
But they do get
Oh.
butthurt. I'm just kidding. I'm
what's the
like,
difference?
I feel like butthurt.
Butt hurt is more like you take it like
Personal.
Yeah.
like of the
but we're
butt.
just we're just joking.
when you're hurt by it, you're like, ay, me duele el corazón.
No. Okay, I got it.
You know, one's more uncomfortable than the other.
Ew, we got it.
Anyways,
On to the next subject.
But yeah,
Today's preaching.
no, we're about
Today's preaching.
to finalize. We got some more minutes. That was quick.
Oh wow.
That was quick.
That was sad.
So anyways,
So it comes down to communication and the way you understand
person.
things.
And trusting God.
Trusting God,
Too.
like from the rich man to pastors preaching yesterday, and to the stories that we were talking about.
salud.
That was pastor,
Paz de Cristo.
Pase
Dios
Cristo,
te bendiga.
pastor.
and then
That's what he said.
so yeah, it comes down to communication, and like you, I think it was you that we used that in one of the meetings. It depends how you ask questions, you know, how you say things.
Or it's like the tone sometimes. It could
That's
be
the
that.
tone. Like me
Communicating
at
with
home,
all
and people get mad at us at times. Where they're like, "Man, you guys tell each other everything." Like for instance, like at home, it's 3 of us. It's a 2-bedroom, and we got 2 bathrooms, right? My brother and I share the same bathroom, and that's why when I go to the restroom, and people that are visiting, sometimes like, "Why you guys tell each other you're gonna be in the restroom?" That way, if he wants to use it, I'm already there. You know, like he doesn't make plans on his head, or it's just kind of, "Oh, I'll be back. I'm gonna go outside." It's being accountable. It's just, and if I disappear, they're gonna be worse than Danny. You know, or I'm gonna go.
Get in the
I'm just,
bathroom.
you know, yeah, or like saying stuff, you know, or like simple sentence. What do you want from Chick-fil-A?
Or
Are you
delivery.
paying for
we ain't going, bro. We ain't
it?
going.
You get me? It's like
We're not going
it's the specific. I'm going
We're
to
not going.
Chick-fil-A. You want me to get you something? You know, you want me to
It's
buy you
the
something?
specific in how you specify things.
And that's how
too.
we get a lot of miscommunications, a lot of misunderstandings. But yeah, you know, I think we came down to a very good talk today. Thank you, the Escobedo
A ROG Talk.
family, Escobedo,
Child coming soon.
for being here and
No.
sharing that Wolf Friday again.
Her
And
mom's
like-
like, ah.
and then we got this over here.
Hi, how you doing?
2021?
Yeah.
Expand the kingdom.
2023.
2023?
2023 probably.
That's when the child is coming.
Oh, the
Hey
kid?
Siri,
Hopefully.
The little girl?
set a reminder.
No, a boy. Taco
You're
Bell.
gonna have a girl.
Taco Bell. You're gonna-
Taco Bell.
Taco Bella.
You're having a chalupa girl.
No.
We're gonna
Walk her off.
his name is gonna be like the initials of Taco Bell.
TC.
TB.
T-bone steak.
Well, yeah, well, thank you for being here again.
Get on in,
Pastor will
T-bone.
be here next week. They were busy today. Okay, ¿vienes a
Some
saludar,
pastors,
Carlos?
so. No, Vali. He's
Oh,
busy.
manda
He's in a
saludos,
meeting right now.
Pastor.
Okay.
He's studying.
So he just went like this. He's
Studied the
finishing up
battlefield.
the notes that he took in the meeting.
Yes.
And but yeah, thank you the audience for being here. Thank you ladies for being here.
Señor Silla,
Señor Agua, Sister Waters,
hermano Mico.
the Wall family. Thank you for being here. La Señora Luz, and thank you Brandon. for helping all the time. Thank you for coming all the way from Corona, making the sacrifice. And thank you guys. Thank you for the snacks.
I live here.
And everybody online, thank you again. Leave a comment, like, and see you guys next week.
Drop a like.
Have a blessed day.
Más a las 11.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Eyewitness News at 11.
You will be my strength when my mind says I